Governor Mayor, distinguished guests. It's November in Norway. I'm depressed. But the reason is not that it's dark outside, it's cold and wet. The reason is that in each November, International Energy Agency comes with a forecast of energy and climate. It's invariably depressing, because they say we can save the globe, but that requires quick action and resolute action. Otherwise, all hell is loose. Now, do we then get that? After Paris, there was some hope. Pullman told us earlier today that Bonn is a mess. On the government side, they quarrel about insignificant points. Saudi Arabia does its best to stop any sort of agreement, and it's basically backtracking from Paris. The only place where there was some action was in the business side. Now, that made me feel a bit like the situation in Norway 2 years ago, when we started Norway 2030, 40. The 40 does not reflect the year, but the reduction in emission by 2030. So we are frustrated, because in the Norwegian society, we are an oil country, so both in the cabinet, in the trade unions, and the Employers' Federation, there were strong forces that basically didn't want any action. They tended to win. That was quite frustrating for those of us in the private sector who feel strongly that we have a strong mission and we really must and should do something about climate change. Why is that? Well, climate change is easily the biggest challenge we have as humanity. It is a big challenge. It is also a major opportunity. For business, any big change is a profit opportunity. It is also the opposite. If you ignore it, you stand to lose. Just look at the fjords in Western Norway. All of those who built oil field supply vessels, they're just standing there because they didn't see what was coming. Or if you see Florida and Louisiana, in a couple of weeks they had damage of $200 billion from climate change. So, the powerful reasons, it's an opportunity. The most expensive thing it is now is to do nothing. It's also a fact that CEOs are human beings. They're also human beings with kids, even though we tend to be so old that climate change will not affect us too much. It will change the life of our kids fundamentally. We have a moral responsibility to act. So, 15 of us got together, facilitated by Osvald and Xynteo, and we felt we should work together and see what we could do to get business action on climate change in Norway. We had a very good reception, the first meeting, even the Prime Minister attended, and we started. It started a fair bit of talk, but we found that we had a lot together. We had common ideas. We felt that in moving our organizations, it was very useful to be able to talk to one another. Because also within organizations, there are lots of people who are not particularly fond of change. So we worked. The word got around, and from the 15, we are today 25. Most of the big businesses in Norway, from Hydro, Kongsberg, Coca-Cola, Nordea, Ruter, Statkraft, Tine. And I think it would be shameful for I mention those who wouldn't be there, but all of those are. And now we're working on two levels, basically. We have a number of pilot projects. We work together. We do that on what we call green transportation. That is making sure that we buy nothing but electric cars and also developing through our demand electric cars that can be used in more heavy transport. We have green finance with Sparebanken Nord, Nordea and Storebrand are members of financing solar roofs and various green ventures. We have what I think is quite neat, My Paris Promise, where at the individual level we do the exact opposite of the Donald. We promise to do something about climate. And we also feel that it has been a shame in Norway that we have coal produced in Spitsbergen. Not only have we produced it, but they lost 500 million kroner a year to do it. That's even worse than the we have Yara with the electric ship. Statoil is the biggest company in Norway in renewable energy. They're investing 100 billion kroner over the next couple of years in it. And Veidekke realized the importance of forestry. Out of solid wood, they're starting to build big projects. So, what it is really, that it is an entire gamut of activities in the industry that we do something and we do it and implement it and act on it for climate change. Only another half hour. So, thinking about all this, and notably sitting here today, listening to my fellow CEOs, all we're doing, the excitement of doing it, and what we are implementing, I'm no longer depressed. Thank you.